Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to our Dreamerspro Short Clips channel that we have linked in the comment section. So today, I got a pretty interesting show for you guys here today. Pretty interesting show. And I think this is the best time, to produce a show like this. Now, as y'all know, I believe it was last summer, if I'm not mistaken. Towards the fall, something like that. I don't remember the exact timeline. The Ime Udoka story became the biggest story, not only in sports media, but dare I say in entertainment. It was something that was being discussed on so many different platforms. I mean, it was literally everywhere you turned. Ime Udoka was being discussed. Why? Because of the salaciousness of the story, kind of like a scandal. And of course, a lot of people are interested in this, and people that go beyond just people that follow basketball or sports in general. It was a very appealing subject to a lot of people. Right now, at the time when that news broke, I made my thoughts 100% crystal clear on the topic. I said that Ime Udoka was absolutely foolish for putting himself in a position where he could be embarrassed like that. That was on him. Nobody forced him to do those things. However, I felt as if he was being scapegoated and he wasn't being protected the way the other person that was involved in the situation was, given the fact it was between two consenting adults. I felt like it was a witch hunt for Ime Udoka, and they wanted to make him the poster boy for workplace misconduct. And one of the people that went after Ime Udoka, and any person that even tried to sympathize or see things from a nuanced position, Malika Andrews absolutely went off on. The first person she went off on was Stephen A. Smith, where she tried to insult him on his own show on ESPN First Take, where he himself had to check her. Like, you're not going to come on my show and dictate the terms to me. That's absolutely just not going to work. Then, of course, she cut off Kendrick Perkins at the time he was trying to weigh in on the situation. And then once we found out that Joe Mazzulla was going to be the next head coach, she then started digging up his past and started talking about it, right? Something that really turned off a lot of people, including me. And I made my feelings about that crystal clear. I didn't want to hide my feelings about it. I didn't want to be on the fence about it. I didn't want to be ambiguous about it. I wanted people to understand exactly what I thought about it. So how does Malika Andrews relate to all of this? Well, as y'all know, the Boston Celtics decided to suspend Ime Udoka indefinitely. And then they said that, you know what, he can go out there and talk to other head coaches. The last we had heard from him was when we found out that the Brooklyn Nets were interested in hiring him after they fired Steve Nash, right? And it looked like all indications were looking like as if he was going to be the next head coach. Even Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN was publishing information about this. Then at the 11th hour, the Brooklyn Nets did an about face, right? And apparently external sources got involved in that hiring process and discouraged the Brooklyn Nets from hiring Ime Udoka. And what I understood at the time was the reason they didn't want to hire him was because of the optics. It would look bad. And I said to them, would you want to look bad in the moment? Would you want to look good in the moment and pander to people like the Malika Andrews of the world? Or would you take some of the negative press that comes with, hiring a coach like this and ensure that you have a damn good coach to help coach your team? Obviously, they did the first thing. They decided to pander to people, and ultimately they moved off from him. So what happened? Eventually, some team in the NBA decided that they were going to give him a chance, and that team was the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets decided to say, you know what? Let's give this guy a shot. Let's give him a coaching position, and that's exactly what they did. They hired Ime Udoka, something that I believe shocked a lot of people out there that were absolutely rooting against him. They thought that he was just this person that was going around wreaking havoc all over the place, and he was doing it all on his own. Right? A lot of people, I'm sure, were very disappointed in the Houston Rockets. And then it made me think about the current state of affairs with the Boston Celtics. Now, if some of you are not aware, the Boston Celtics find themselves down 3-2 to the Philadelphia 76ers, who had been playing, who have kind of an up and down Joel Embiid, who had not really been himself, right? And I think in game one, James Harden went in there. I think he scored 45 points in that game, and they went in there and took that game. Game two, I believe they lost it. And then now, yesterday they played against them, and Philly was able to go out there and basically snatch a win from the paws or the clutches of the Boston Celtics and beat them 115-103. And it got so bad that yesterday on Inside the NBA on TNT, Charles Barkley himself went off on that team and said what they did was an absolute disgrace. So what we want to do is quickly play some of the comments that Charles Barkley had to make, and then we're going to come back and continue on with the show. Take a listen to what Charles Barkley had to say there.
First thing you asked us when the start of the show, you asked me, was, does momentum help? No.
Or is there momentum? Yeah.
Game 6 will be nothing like this. And so, I think there's a different type of energy every game. Our job is to microwave the moment. But when you're in the trenches, you're not thinking like that at all.
Underdog says 10-10 in their last 20
That's crazy.
home playoff games.
And the important thing for Philly, they can't get too happy. Doc said it. We have to go through this team. So the same focus they had tonight, if they can ball that up when they get home, because, again, the others play well, play great on the road, but at home they're going to be more comfortable. It's going to be their fans, but they can't get too happy.
But Boston won Game 3 in Philly as
Ernie,
well, so they've won there, yes.
10-10 at home is not a good stat. It's like, that's shocking to me that a team with that many good players who really in the last probably 2 or 3 years they've been in the top 1 or 2 in the Eastern Conference. To be 10-10 at home is shocking. There's no excuse for that. And listen, we are microwave guys on television because we just cooked. And I was shocked. I'm not going to say it's just one of those games. It's game 5 in a 2-2 series at home. And you come out, and that game was not competitive tonight. Even when it was close, you're like, well, the Sixers going to win this game. And then they end up getting blown out. I don't know what happened. I'm not going to make excuses. I'm not going to take any blame. But that was not a good look for the Celtics tonight. And Kenny says only one game. That's all it takes is one game in the series, and the season's over.
So you heard Charles Barkley's comments. Let me continue on. The question is simply this. Had the Boston Celtics not decided that they were going to virtue signal and pander to the Malika Andrews of the world and decided to bring this guy back, do you think they would be in a different position right now? Do you think Ime Udoka would have been able to do a better job than the job Joe Mazzulla's doing? Do you think so? Do you think so? In my personal opinion, I think the answer is absolutely yes. Because obviously, Ime Udoka could get through to these guys in ways that the assistant coach couldn't at the time, and the former head coach and Brad Stevens couldn't. The job he did with that team was absolutely incredible. Turned the entire program around. A season that looked like it was going in a totally different direction. Turned them around and help coach that team to having the number 1 rated defense in the NBA and help coaching them to an NBA Finals appearance. That's what Ime Udoka did. But they decided, no, we're gonna cave in to the Malika Andrews of the world. And look what it's got you. You lost out on a good coach, and now another team has him. Another team has him. Now, I can understand if you suspended him and brought him back, but obviously, based on some of the information that I have, that there was it got pretty messy there. But this is what happens when you pander. You do things that are not in your best interest. You're doing things to please people that ultimately couldn't help you even if they liked you in the end. So what does all of what people think, how is that amounting now to playoff wins? It's amounting to nothing. It's amounting to nothing. It is better to be principled in something, and even if it's not unpopular, if you believe it, you do it. But people that constantly pander and grift, they're everywhere and nowhere at the same time. So these are my thoughts and opinions. What I want to know from you guys, what do you think about on some of the things that I had to say in the show? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.